Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my channel for another Sideshow Collectibles DC Comics 1/6 scale figure unboxing and review video. Now today we're going to be going back into the archives and taking a look at Hal Jordan as the Green Lantern. It's an older figure, I think it came out around 2015. But because I'm collecting the rest of the League, it kind of wouldn't be complete knowing full well that there's a Green Lantern on the market. So of course I had to go and hunt him down and pick him up. If you are looking to pick him up as well, I managed to find mine on a Facebook group, a local buy-sell group. If you are looking to find one in the States, you may even be able to go to your local comic book stores and find this guy because sometimes they have older stock. Otherwise, you can always try eBay. Fingers crossed Sideshow do eventually give us a newer version of the Green Lantern, because this guy is starting to show his signs of age, although as far as I'm aware, it's still a darn fantastic release. What we are going to do now though is get the box laying flat in the light box and do the unboxing. And here of course we have the box art for Green Lantern. Relatively simple, but yet very, very fitting. After all, it's the colour scheme of his outfit, black, white and green, and I really like how it comes across. Green Lantern on the side in a more stylized print, then a beautiful piece of artwork of Hal Jordan with the lantern on the back there. I've been kind of excited for this figure. I don't really know what to expect because I haven't really taken a look at many of the older DC Comics figures. I also really like that piece of artwork right there. And here we have Hal Jordan himself. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to secure the exclusive version of the Green Lantern, which comes with an alternate hand with an energy effect. But as you can see, this guy still has a pretty darn awesome effect piece. And here we have him. First in-hand impressions are pretty positive. This guy feels relatively sturdy, and so far, I'm somewhat impressed. I do want to talk about the colour of the outfit later on in the video. Now you can see he doesn't just come with one, but he does come with two trays of accessories. So what we are going to do now is get all of Green Lantern's bits and pieces laid out in the light box and take a closer look at everything he comes with. And here we have everything that comes with the Green Lantern. Let's start off by taking a look at the display base first. It's the usual Sideshow style, but this one has a really awesome technical Green Lantern print on there. There's a bit of circuitry going on and you can just make out the Green Lantern logo. Now, in order to have the Green Lantern on the display base, you get this extended pole. However, it's modular. You can sort of dismantle it and just use the crotch grabber if that's what you'd prefer. I know I personally will be going just with the basic crotch grabber. Now, you do get an alternate pair of boots done in this beautiful candy metallic green with the feet off at an angle in case you want to have the lantern in the air or perhaps running. These are a really nice touch that I wish companies would do more, because let's be honest, if you do have a fixed boot design like these are, it's a little bit more challenging to get the feet in poses such as this. Now he does come with one Green Lantern energy construct. Thank goodness this wasn't the exclusive piece, because this is just gorgeous. It's a big honkin' green fist. I love the way it's painted, how it sort of comes to a more translucent green towards the top here, but right up here at the fist, it's a super dark emerald green. And yes, there is a hand sculpted on the inside there with a wrist peg. You do also get this gauntlet piece that has this green section, so when you do use it in conjunction with the energy effect, it blends in just a little bit more. That is also a very nice touch. Now, in order to charge up the ring, you do get the Green Lantern battery. This, in and of itself, is sculpted really nicely. It's a very classic Green Lantern battery. But that's not it. If you touch the top of the Green Lantern, unfortunately mine is dying, but there you go, you do have a light on the inside. A little bit of capacitive technology in the top there, so when you touch it, it just lights up. Very simple, but very, very effective. Lastly, he does come with enough hands. He doesn't come with a hell of a lot, but more than enough in my opinion. And yes, on the right side you do get a sculpted and painted Green Lantern ring. Now the exclusive accessory for this guy, as I mentioned earlier, is actually a hand that has a bit of an effect coming off the ring. Personally, I would have loved to have that, but this piece right here is probably how I'm going to be displaying my Green Lantern, so I could take or leave that energy effect fist. What we are going to do now, though, is get Hal Jordan himself out here and take a closer look. And here we have him standing straight up and down in the light box, no crazy poses or accessories or anything like that. And yeah, that's the Green Lantern, and it's a really impressive figure. It's an older release, so there's some stuff that, honestly, they would do better nowadays, but still, it's pretty darn impressive. The outfit is this synthetic rubbery style material that I would have liked to have swapped out for spandex, but it's got a bunch of detail on it. It still works quite nicely with the rest of the line. The head sculpt is pretty good and it's pretty realistic, so it does fit in. Plus, with the white eyes, it matches really well alongside Batman. The accessories, though, in my opinion, is where this guy excels. That lantern battery that you can actually touch to light up, and that construct, pretty darn awesome. The only thing that I would have changed would have probably been to add a few more constructs. An energy version of a Gatling gun just comes to the top of mind. I think that would have been fantastic. What we are going to do now, though, is take him off the rotating turntable, punch in, and take a closer look at the details. And here we have Green Lantern up close and personal. And while this isn't one of the newer style DC Comics figures, I still kinda like the way it looks. Now let's talk about the head sculpt first. I can definitely see an actor's likeness in here, although I can't quite put my finger on who that is. It still looks like a real-life person. Plus, the paint applications, while a little bit darker than some of the newer figures, is still really nicely done. I like the curl up the top here with the hair, and the punchy metallic green here for the domino mask. It's a really nice head sculpt. Granted, I think they could do better nowadays, but still, it doesn't really age the figure too terribly much. What does, though, is the suit. As you can see, it's a really light green underneath, then a darker green pattern over the top. But for some reason, on one side, the green pattern is a lot thicker, and on the other side, it's a lot thinner. Don't exactly know how that got through quality control, but as you can see, it's definitely mismatched there. Very, very interesting. You also do have the Green Lantern logo on the front, and it is pretty darn faithful to the comic version. It's nothing really to write home about. It's literally a Green Lantern logo. The rest of the suit is this black material, but as you can see, it's a bunch of mini Green Lantern logos that make up the texture of the suit. That I really do like. It's just that really weird lighter green undertone to the suit that I'm not a huge fan of. If they were to tackle a Green Lantern nowadays, I think they'd make the suit entirely out of spandexy fabric and just do a couple of panel lines on it like we saw with the Flash and with Batman, and I personally would be all for it. As for the gauntlets, there is a little bit of textural detail to make them look like leather and a clasp at the front, plus of course his ring on the hand, but I know you've already seen that. Coming down to the boots, they are relatively simple, but they are a nice candy green. This is the color that I wish the entire suit was. That color doesn't really scream Green Lantern to me, but this super punchy vibrant green definitely does. And yes, there is a little bit of texture and detail on the underside of the soles. Is this my favorite DC Comics figure that we've taken a look at to date? No, probably not, but in my opinion, it's still a must-have if you're doing the DC lineup from Sideshow. Now for our quick side-by-side comparison, here we have my Sideshow Justice League as it stands. I'm pretty darn happy with how this has turned out. I know we're still missing a few League members, but the core team looks fantastic. I love each and every single one of these figures in their own right. Does that mean they're 100% flawless? Obviously not. There's stuff that they can improve on, but just the basics they got very right. All of the suits look awesome. Green Lantern's suit is completely different to how they did the other three male League members, but I'm hoping we get a new version sometime in the near future with a fully cloth suit. That will be an awesome update, and I'm hoping they go with John Stewart over Hal Jordan, because they've already done a Hal Jordan. It'd still be nice to get another one, or even an interchangeable head sculpt so we can have both lanterns. That'd be fantastic, but I'm just dreaming. We'll have to wait and see what happens when the time comes. Nevertheless, these are looking fantastic, all standing side by side, and I personally cannot wait to put them on the shelf. Just wrapping up on the Sideshow Green Lantern. Now going into this, I was pretty darn excited because I've really enjoyed most of the newer released figures in the comics lineup. However, at the end of this video I can say that, yeah, this guy doesn't really stack up compared to the newer releases. If there was one that definitely needed a 2.0 over and above the original Superman and Batman, it's this guy. I think Sideshow could definitely do better with the new bodies that they're using and the new design brief being all fabric suits. This guy, the sculpt is fantastic, the accessories are great, and the paint applications are good. It's just the suit that lets him down. The poses that you're seeing here look kind of boring, and that's because that's all he can do. His legs can barely move. He's super restricted. That's a bit of a shame because, as I said, the accessories look really awesome, especially the energy construct, but you can't really use it to its fullest with this super limited body. Overall though, I'm still glad to have him in the collection, but as soon as a 2.0 version gets announced, I will absolutely be replacing this one with that one. If you are looking to pick this guy up, I'm pretty sure you can find him on eBay, maybe even your local comic book stores if you're lucky. If you are heading down to the description, why not check out the link to 6 Scale Network, the awesome Facebook group. Come along, chat figures, share photos of your collection, and of course, see what's coming up next on the channel. Like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next video.